Thank you for being here. It's bright and early. I think this is the end of last year's H2O World. This was the signature picture. Thank you, community, for your love and inspiration. That's how we got this far. And since then, we've been making progress. This is Hassan. I think somewhere in the audience I saw him. We still kept the attention that we had. Lots of 300 meetups since then, right? So I'll just go a slide roll much faster. We had a faster version earlier, slower version of it. This was how the team was last year. And, right, almost all of it. They're all speedsters. They like speed. This was how we were trying to get a customer. We actually have them as a customer. They'll be speaking this tomorrow, actually. Another customer of ours, huge fan of ours, Market Share. They got acquired by Newstar. The team after, like just before. Lots of great slides from last H2O World which told the story. This was one of them, where Cisco's predictive modeling factory is a blueprint for a lot of other users who followed since. Other team members. We moved into a new office space last year. I think that's done some wonders for team spirit, obviously. But the key part of that move was we now actually have a space that has community and code happening in the same place. And we actually do not see, we see the word company as the English word company, where two people is a company. And we have a bunch of interesting pairs of people who work together in cultures. Our Twitter stream is actually our live stream. Our GitHub is actually our core base, right? So our GitHub is live. We don't have too many private repos. We don't intend to have too many private repos. We are a 100% open source company as of today, right? Python came to life. That's the next phase of the company, where we started building more of this stuff. And we went to Hadoop Summit. We built more interesting stuff. This is the Python demos that eventually rocked Strata. We did a fantastic, we had Olympic medalists wanting to use AI to improve their games, cyclists. This is Merit, another one of our customers. I hope he's somewhere in the audience watching this. We have built this company through customer love. This is Matt Dowell's family. I was trying to proudly introducing him to the community. Matt hopefully will come up stage later. We had Alex, who did a fantastic job telling the story. The storytelling of what you do is just as important as what you do, right? Deep learning, in different places. Deep learning got much better. This is me obsessed about winning another customer and eventually winning them. They'll speak today, actually. Storm, we had several meetups, about 300 meetups in the last 3 years. So we'll talk about some of that, but how we built the community around this is just as much a story as the product itself. This is us speaking at early days at Capital One, which went on to become one of our strong supporters, right? Sort of, and Matt talking about his Datadog table. This actually is something we were proud of. The physics of software is physics of the team. We released our next-gen product, H2O 3, which is the 3.0 version. You are installing 3.6 as of today, which is actually we name our softwares after mathematicians' last names. Along the way, we picked Mirzakhani, the first women fields medalist, right? And today we are at T, which happens to be Tip Shirani. So you are actually installing Tip Shirani version on your computers when you did it yesterday. Our Kaggle contestants got better. We finally landed Mark, and Mark joined us around May, and we started winning Kaggle. Even more regularly than before. And now we actually built a community around Kaggle, which is using H2O continuously. So these are the highlights of the last year, if you will. And there's a lot of stories between each one of these, right? A lot of real hard work that went into building the company and building the community. We wouldn't be here without the community. This is us at Spark Summit. We released sparkling water, and sparkling water became one of the key open source collaborative movement as opposed to competitive movement with Spark MLlib. And we continue to build a very large community of users, both in R, Python, and Spark. Sparkling water is about 25% of our downloads each month. Well, this is fun. I think you guys know this one, right? That even, right? And we have one of DJ Patil's colleague in the audience, which kind of makes us nervous. But that's the story of the company. And then we added a real marketing team, as you can see. And then we have the wonders of the marketing team. We're all here with H2O World the next year. So this is the second revision of everything. Gets better, but it doesn't necessarily need to lose its authenticity. We want to keep it as authentic, as low marketing as possible, but at the same time, make sure we are doing things that make sense. So with that, I want to pull up a couple of slides and then introduce the team that's going to present some of their demos today. And why are we here? We're here to make math better, right? So we're here to make our lives better with better algorithms. Thank you. It's still day zero for us. We are just getting started. I mean, as much as we take inspiration from what we've done and how far we've come, I think there's a lot to do ahead. I was going to start with kind of the H2O World attendance. How many of you have, we have a pretty large contingent of out-of-state attendees. A large contingent of out-of-state attendees, actually. And 54% of our people are from the Bay Area, and the rest are actually from outside. Second largest contingent is from Texas. Right? Which you would be surprised, right? That's from Texas. We actually have, from a city standpoint, Dallas comes very close, right? So Dallas followed by New York City. We have Cleveland. Cleveland is in attendance. Cleveland has a pretty, quite surprise. Obviously, Progressive has done a very, is a good supporter of the company. My first impressions of being at Progressive was, wow, what an intense math team, algo team, data science team in this cold tundras, right? So it's actually, isn't your data science lab actually underground? We've also had some great experiences doing data science in Dallas. We've actually had the Cap One team in Dallas. Anyone in attendance here? We've had AT&T. And AT&T is one of our earliest players there, and then followed by Transamerica. We have a couple of, within Plano, within 2 blocks, we have some large customer installations. Very, very supportive. Let me just see. PowerPoint. The core of the company remains the same. We are software engineers working very closely with machine learning people, trying to build software with the help of mathematicians, right? So that's kind of the core. And that starts with building great algorithms. And algorithms we are measured as accuracy and speed. That's what we're focused on. We're building highly accurate, as fast as you can over large data sets. That hasn't changed. But how do we take from there to kind of where we can expand it beyond the core data science audience? You see in attendance at H2O World, about 37% are in business, which is quite a surprise. This is where we want it to be next year, right? That's where we are today, which is kind of quite a very, very reaffirming that our vision towards taking this to the broader audience is in motion. We have developers and decision makers. Oh, by the way, it's 80% staff and managers and 20% C-level execs who probably are just an overhead, right? People like us. So no one can escape the 80-20 rule, even H2O World. Looking at this earlier, they're spread reasonably wide. So we probably will have to do an East version of this exact H2O World. So hopefully we'll have enough firepower next year from event standpoint to be able to spread it and make it a nationwide and a worldwide movement. There is the rise of citizen data science. Yesterday, the winner of data science hackathon joined the Kaggle team on stage because she actually beat one of our Kaggle, one of our top data scientists, and she's an intern at AT&T, right? So she's so we have pulled her on stage, which is quite an interesting. So you can, and her quote was, within 2 weeks of using the tool or learning to do it, she's able to go beat the KDD winners on the contest. So that's very reaffirming. Second part of it. 300 meetups and several events over the last 3 years later, we've built a reasonably credible, trustworthy companionship with the community. And I think that's been the true success that we call behind us. Let's talk about H2O community a little bit further. We've grown in adoption across several data scientists and companies, about 5,000 companies, of which, as of this month, they're closer to 9 monthly active, not 5,000 active installations on H2O, right, in open source. It's been nothing short of a miracle to get here, but the miracles happen mostly because of a great team we have and community that likes us and trusts us. There is a gender balance almost in our community, which is something I like, right? So there's a gender balance within the company, and the community also represents that. I think data science is kind of unique there. We do have some worldwide ability to expand across the world, it feels like. So H2O World ahead, we have signed up about 80 talks, of which we finished about a good 20 of them yesterday, but a good 60 of them are ahead of us. So this 2 days is going to be packed with a lot of stories, customer war stories, a lot of open mics. We want to hear from you as much as listen as much as we want to tell. Yesterday was more of our teams talking. The next 2 days is our customers talking. So it'll be a lot of fun. We did this. H2O 3 was released, and the teamwork behind that is most companies that try to rewrite their software never actually complete it, right? This is a monumental achievement on part of Cliff, Arno, and Tom and team. It's the money ball for business, and a lot of customers are getting in on it, right? So there's a big, giant chunk of, this is a small sample of people who are actually paying customers of our product. And the problems of business haven't changed. They're still the same. The cost of proprietary stacks are going to make innovation slow, right? So how do you operationalize your data science becomes still the key problem for companies. And how do you go and exploit open source tool chain? That's kind of the core vision behind what we are really up to. The core problems of data science are the same. We've replaced sampling, no sampling. We're kind of bringing wrangling and cleansing into the picture. So you'll see a demo today on munging and how you get to clean data, and how we have continued to improve algorithms. So that's the 3 big pillars. How do we improve the experience and go beyond? We're going to talk a little bit about Steam, what's coming ahead. If you think about what is the future, data is the new clay, right? And how do you take data from clay to a product? That's the core vision behind what will happen next, both in the evolution of H2O as well as the space. People have been building rule-based apps forever, and where we are headed towards is learning applications, where you can go from smaller subset of those rules to building intelligent apps that learn with data presentation. I think that's the core we're seeing. Algorithms plus data equals business. That's where you're making your dollars. I think that's the core vision, where you go from the SQL-based data sets to NoSQL flattened data sets, and using machine learning to build the new apps of the future. In streaming data, you want to be able to score data live. You want to be able to use historical models and then score them live, and use both unsupervised and supervised learning to solve those problems. 2 big innovations that have become mainstream. One is ensembles. How do you bring ensembles and deep learning into your toolkit? So you're no longer fishing for the best model anymore. Model selection has become slightly more robust. You can actually pick a group of models as opposed to one model. And that's something that's enabled the model factory mindset as opposed to the artisanal approach to building models. And that's kind of what we're pushing further, where faster building of models means you can actually take a whole slew of models, combine them to build the right thing for your product. So you're no longer looking for just that one best model for your space. I think that's the key. And between these 2 is kind of how we built the Steam. And that's kind of the core vision behind a kind of a truly intelligent space server, where building model libraries that are delivering predictions and deployments and deploying them elastically. Those are the black box of Steam. Several components come together to build a Steam. One of them is the model management, where you can regulate both model expiration and model promotion. And then how do you build logic that is custom to your domain based on your risk tolerance? How do you do kind of truly put feedback loops to improve your models, kind of in a data science in a box mindset? Those are the kind of things that we are bringing, or those are the things that we're building in the labs as we speak. So you can bring them. And then the third part of deploying them elastically across based on whatever performance you need. Those are the multiple components that are being built now, so you can use them in the years ahead. And that's kind of the road ahead for us is Steam, where we can automate most of the artisanal approach of doing data science. And that's the road ahead. And so to that degree, the early adopters of H2O have that advantage to pick these things and take them to the next phase. One fun piece that I would bring to bear is the three cultures that are evident in every one of our customers. Algorithms, we satisfied data scientists for the first 3 years of the company and made sure accuracy and speed is the core focus of the product and the company. But taking the algorithms to a wider audience, which is how do we improve experience and improve adoption, both for API developers as well as business analysts, by plugging it into Excel, plugging it into traditional ways of doing data, plugging it into Spark, Python, and R, and Java and JavaScript libraries, so you can actually truly build verticalized applications. So some of our customers are co-developing the early verticals with us, and those are the ones that are going to come to market as well in very fast pace. So those are the pieces that we have expanded the core vision of the product. The vision has always been the same, the convergence of applications, analytics, and apps. And data is happening as we speak, the DNA of your data center, the data analytics and apps. And those are the pieces that H2O represents, the product that integrates these three cultures, not just process. And I think that's kind of the core vision. And you'll see, as part of the demos ahead, what are the three big pieces that matter here. And obviously, some of you represent this audience. And making data products is going to be a core theme of the talk that follows, the panels that follow tomorrow and today. So this is kind of going to be where a ton of focus is going to go into in this space. We have continued to put open source ahead of everything else we do because we are in the business of building trust, not just products. What we sell last year will be different from what we sell in 2 years. But as a community, as a company, we established a certain cadence and trust with the community as well as the world we are in. And that's kind of, we continue to build that true trust of taking you to production, building new innovation alongside you. You are actually changing the world with data, and we are tool builders for your change, right? So we are really participants, the Tenzing Sherpas for your climbing the Everest. So be part of the change and be part of the community we are building and the product we're building through feedback. And it takes a community to build a startup. Thank you for your support in this journey. And we continue to grow this community, so be vibrant. We've been growing mostly through word of mouth. If you best believe, most of this H2O World is actually a word of mouth phenomenon, and we've only recently started applying traditional marketing apparatus to bear, right?